We're going to have a look at a conversation between Francesca Fiorentini and Kyle Kulinski. And I got to say, Kyle Kulinski looks like his beard has been like airbrushed on or something. He looks like a Bond villain from the video game GoldenEye or something weird like that. I don't know. Does he got makeup on? Just, I don't know. Weird dude, right? And so anyways, they're debating over Cenk Uyger. Old chunky yogurt is back. And of course, the left doesn't like it when other people on the left mingle with MAGA. And this is basically Francesca and Kyle making fun of Cenk for going on with Glenn Beck and Dr. Phil, who all of a sudden Dr. Phil is just this far-right MAGA person, according to the people on the left, which is just so weird to me. But to me, this is a severe case of loser denial. They just can't handle the fact that Donald Trump won this election, and they hate their country. They hate everybody that voted for Donald Trump, and they don't understand that they're the ones on the wrong side of history now. It's hard for them to cope, and I get it. It's physically painful to break out of the cult, but that's not our problem. That's their problem. So let's get into this conversation between Francesca Fiorentini and Kyle Kulinski, making fun of old Cenk Uyger.
Where there's like something in the liberal mind snapped when Trump won again.
Yeah.
Something snapped.
Well,
and
speaking of that,
it's time to wake up.
Well, not everyone is awake. Before I let you go, I did just want to ask you about this to piggyback off of the Guantanamo stuff and some of the disagreements I had with Cenk about it. Cenk Uyger of TYT is now tweeting that he is going to go to Dallas right now. This was last night to talk to Dr. Phil and James Poulos on The Blaze. You know why? Because we need to talk to each other and begin to understand eeach other. The powerful have driven a wedge.
Oh, I understand the right. I understand them. I certainly understand them.
Now, I read this that was like, I don't know how this is going to turn out, Kyle, but this is the kind of stuff that makes me want to die inside. Look, it's okay to talk to the right. You and I have been on Piers Morgan. We've debated, obviously Cenk goes on Piers Morgan all the time, but like the idea that we're going to sit down and be like, how can we come together to decide who to deport and who not to deport? This is such a waste of time. And he's doing it. I feel like Cenk is doing this to troll people who, again, he's like, because Cenk always says, oh, you're calling them Nazis, which we did. We earlier were just like talking about how Elon Musk is a fucking Nazi.
Because he did a Nazi salute multiple times and he tweeted openly anti-Semitic conspiracy theory. This doesn't come out of nowhere. Lefties don't wake up out of bed and go, let me call everybody a Nazi. No, it's, there is evidence of Nazism. You are a Nazi. That's how that works.
But where's that gotten us, Kyle? Where's that gotten us?
No, I got a lot to say about this because I had the philosophy of build bridges, change minds, hold their hands and walk them through it. I'm the guy that had that philosophy and embodied it the first term of Trump in 2016. I'm the guy who was on Joe Rogan's show 5 or 6 times, holding his hand like a fucking toddler and walking him through basic left-wing arguments. I was the reach across the aisle guy, right? You know what that got me? Fucking Joe Rogan endorsing Donald Trump, having him on his podcast and letting him lie to his face repeatedly for 3 hours straight, where he said things like, I never said lock her up about Hillary Clinton. I never said that. It was other people that said that.
Like, even Rogan knows how to fact check that one. Like, even Rogan knows that
he didn't. He actually didn't.
Right, exactly.
So I understand the mindset. I understand where he's coming from. But bro, at some point, you have to stop pretending like we're having reasonable disagreements.
Bro, at some point, you have to stop lying to your audience. That's why Joe Rogan is up here and you're down here, right? Down here. You see that low? Seriously, though, it's just like the Very Fine People hoax from Donald Trump in his first term. All you had to do was listen to him for 5 more seconds and you would have heard him condemn the neo-Nazis. But instead, just like you're doing now with Elon Musk, is you're looking at his, what you're calling Nazi salute, and completely ignoring the context and what Elon was saying, which is, my heart goes out to you, right? He maybe could have done a better gesture, but that doesn't matter. He was not doing a Nazi salute. He was telling people, I love you. My heart goes out to you. So I don't quite think that's the way that you're portraying it. And then when you talk about Joe Rogan, You think that you're smarter than Joe Rogan. You go on his show, you said 5 times, and you're telling him all this stuff, and then Joe takes in what you're saying, he digests it, he watches how you act, he watches how the rest of the left acts, he has a conversation with people who have opposing opinions, unlike you, even though you're saying you're trying to bridge gaps. No, you're just trying to tell people how to think from a lefty perspective, and Joe comes to the conclusion that you're wrong, he disagrees with you, and he gave Trump a platform. Not only that, he offered the same platform to Kamala Harris, and she shat all over it. She didn't want to go and be live, unedited, for 3 hours in a conversation. Look at the 60 Minutes interview that they just released and how much they had to doctor that to make her look better. She's incapable. And we all know that. We all see that. But for you guys that are stuck in the left cult, this is how you cope. This is how you maintain the status quo, and you keep people trapped in the cult by staying in an echo chamber. That's what you two are doing right now. You are the echo chamber for the left that is completely unreasonable and unwilling to have the conversation with people on the right. And if you do, it's fake. It's completely disingenuous. You're not in it to try to learn something. You're in it to try to tell people how to think and how to behave. And Americans have woken up to that. They realize what you're trying to do. We're completely turned off by it to the point that we went out and voted for Donald Trump en masse. But I know it's really, literally, physically painful for you to break out of the cult, and I'm okay with it. You guys maintain your status quo, and Republicans are going to be leading the House, Congress, and the White House for a long time.
These are not reasonable. It's not interesting to debate whether or not it was a good idea for Trump to sign an executive order that raises drug prices, or whether or not it was a good idea for him to sign an executive order that filled the swamp and said, all my cabinet, no more anti-corruption rules for them. It's not reasonable to say 1,500 January 6ers were pardoned, including violent ones, including ones that assaulted cops, including ones that diddle kids. Like, it's not right to sit across from these people and basically give them it gives them cover. It gives them cover to pretend, oh, yes, I'm one of the good ones on the left, and I'm having a reasonable conversation with you. The reasonable conversation is not a conversation. It's a debate where you pummel them into the ground repeatedly.
Exactly. And they respect you for that. I do think that they respect you for that. When you can actually win the debate, or in my case, just kind of make fun of them and dunk on them, there is a little bit more respect than someone who's kind of just hey, why can't we meet their side truly thinks that me, who said Pete Hegseth is a rapist, should be sued for defamation, right? Or that I should be taken off of YouTube or whatever the hell else. And we will see that happen in due time. But that's the question. I mean, I think it's really big of you because look, I know a lot of stand-up comics who would love to go on Rogan. I always make fun of it because my husband Matt's a stand-up, and I'm like, you would totally throw me under the bus to go on Rogan. I always make fun of him because Rogan's a huge deal. Once you get on Rogan, people start paying attention to your stand-up. They might see you. And same thing with if you're a political commentator. If you go on Rogan, that's massive. And so, and I really think it is a testament to your character, having not known you really, but the fact that you're I tried this, I was wrong, because you could have easily just played into more of the Rogan game and told him what he wanted to hear and kept on getting invited back. And then, do you understand what I'm saying? The only way to get invited back is to tell them what they want to hear.
Yes. And here's the thing. I have personal experience with this where I went on the PBD podcast a few years back now. And when I went on the PBD podcast, I went in there more with the mindset of, I'm not really going to hold their hand. I'll explain things as clearly as I can, but I'm going to be clear in what I'm saying, right?
Sure.
When I did that, you read the comments on that video, and it's people going, holy shit, he torched you for 2 hours straight, right? Compared to how I was with Rogan, where I hold his hand and walk him, I don't think I was changing any minds, right? And so here's what people need to understand, and Trump is the best example of this. How did Donald Trump win? If you disagree with him 1%, he would behead you and hold it up and say, anybody who crosses me even a little bit, you're donezo. It's over. It's a wrap. So,
excuse me? Are you serious? That's how Donald Trump reacts? I mean, everything these people are saying right here is completely off base. Donald Trump did not win by threatening people the way that Kyle Kulinski just suggested. He won by appealing to general Americans, to actual people. He listened to them and he's adjusted. Not only that, the persecution from the left, the people that oppose Donald Trump, was so extreme that people were like, I just can't get with these unprincipled Democrats. Not only that, they're catering to the fringe. They want me to approve biological men playing in women's sports, and if I'm not okay with that, then I'm some kind of misogynist, transphobe, whatever. It's nonsense, right? It's the left that cuts your head off. It's the left that wants you canceled and wants your voice silenced and wants you to go along with their agenda, and their agenda is the only way. There's no reasoning with these people on the left at all.
The left, for some reason, and among a lot of liberals, there's this weird thing. Oh, we got to be the bigger people. We got to meet them halfway. We got to do this. It's like, no, tell the truth unapologetically and aggressively and confidently, and let the chips fall where they may. And some people you're going to convince, some people you're not going to convince. But that's okay. You're going to get more of them by aggressively telling the truth than you are by pretending like there's reasonable disagreements where there are no reasonable disagreements. Guys, the Elon thing is like, this is just a perfect example of it. The Elon thing is insane. This guy is illegally hacking into the Treasury. That's not an opinion. That's a fact. Yeah. Congress has the power of the purse. They pass something, the president signs it. It goes to the Treasury. That's it. There is nobody on the back end that, oh, okay, let me mess with this. I want to cancel that and cut off this payment. That's not how it works. Yeah. What am I going to gain by sitting across from a right winger and go, oh, you know, Elon sure is interested in cutting waste. There sure are some things that he cut which made sense for him to cut. Like, no. We're not fucking playing this game. I'm not fucking dumbing myself down in order to try to be one of the good ones with your fucking audience.
You know what it does? You know what I think it does, actually, speaking of just like the election breaking some people's brains, is I think that it's again, when you've done this for so long and our side gets very, very tired of losing, the only thing you feel like you can change is your own perception. And the only feeling you can change is maybe your own positions. And suddenly you don't feel like a loser. I mean, you know, Kamala Harris lost the election. Progress was lost. I mean, in that moment, and the small gains of the Biden administration were totally tanked, right? From the NLRB wins to Lena Khan to the Inflation Reduction Act, all of it gutted. I remember in the moment we were like, oh, I wonder if they'll leave the Inflation Reduction Act because it really helps a lot of red states. It's all gone. They're gonna completely, you know, or at least they're trying to. It's not legal, but they're trying to rescind, you know, all of the money that was allocated for it. So that's the thing, is like, I think it comes from this place of not having a long view of like movement struggle and how shit has ever changed in this country, and being like, well, maybe it's not a loss if we come together and agree that, like, you know, we need term limits, or like, you know, we need to prevent the revolving door, as if they would ever agree to stop the revolving door between, you know, Congress and the private sector. But yeah.
So
once again, complete horseshit. The people on the right are the ones that have been screaming we need term limits. It's dinosaurs like Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi and Adam Schiff and Maxine Waters that won't give up power. Yeah, there's a few of them on the Republican side too, but MAGA is out here saying all of them need to retire. They can't retire fast enough. So when she sits here and projects that MAGA doesn't want term limits, it's completely false. It's just straight up bullshit. And you got to keep in mind that Democrats have had control of the White House for 12 of the last 16 years. And these people hate America, but they can't put two and two together because math is racist, that where we are right now is a result of bad policies passed by the Democrats and Republicans not towing the line. They just slowly allow Democrats to take more and more and more ground. And now this is their cope. This is how they're going to handle the fact that Donald Trump is going to take some ground back for the Republican Party, which is for every single American, right? And it's my belief that every person in America, life will get better as far as it can be controlled by politicians and government over these next 4 years. We're already seeing how Doge is cutting government spending from USAID, FEMA. They just had to pay back $59 million that they gave to New York for five-star hotels to facilitate illegal immigrants. They had to give it back. It was given to them last week, and they had to give it back yesterday. It's wins after wins for Donald Trump and his cabinet, as they're being confirmed pretty much daily now. Thankfully, RFK Jr. was confirmed earlier today, and it looks like maybe Kash Patel tomorrow. But these people, they hate America. Kyle Kulinski and Francesca Fiorentini, will tell you that America is a terrible place, and they have no idea. They're so tone deaf that they don't even realize that Donald Trump is the only non-Democrat president that we've had for 16 years. And it's so funny to me that Kyle Kulinski is out here saying that they need to aggressively tell the truth when they don't really have any truth to stand on. What is he even talking about? Like, everything he said here was a straight up lie. It's all framed in a way to make Donald Trump look bad, when the reality is the media is readily available for us on X and everywhere pretty much besides the mainstream media to come to the truth, to have an understanding that Donald Trump is way better for Americans right now than any Democrat that they put forth, right? And any little good that she admitted to right there that Joe Biden got done, which was very little, if anything, for Americans, is going to be completely just washed out by Donald Trump. Donald Trump is on pace to maybe become one of the greatest presidents in American history. And in my opinion, he already is the greatest president in my lifetime. So if you guys agree with that, and if you happen to enjoy this video, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Share this video as well. It's rather entertaining watching these lefties cope as hard as they have been and still not coming to the realization that they're just on the wrong side of history, and then watching them double down on their completely bullshit lies and terrible ideas. We're going to win in 2028 if these people don't wake up, and I think that's the path that we're on. So anyways, appreciate you guys for watching till the end, and I'll see you guys in the next video.